Forming bracket!
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is of course my review for Army of Thieves, which is of course the prequel to Army of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder. So a little bit of backstory. Army of Thieves I did not know was coming out. At least let me backpedal a bit more. I knew it was coming out after Army of the Dead obviously did really well for Netflix. I heard that there was buzz that there was going to be a prequel movie called Army of Thieves. So I was like, okay, so it's going to be coming out in a couple years. I did not know that it was going to be coming out several months down the line, and yet here we are. I heard about this movie as of the filming of this video, which is early November. I heard about a week ago. I saw it was like trending on Netflix, and I was like, this movie's out already? Holy cow, how did they do it? And I'm assuming that what happened was when they made Army of the Dead, they also probably made this. I don't know, or maybe they literally just made this movie in the span of a couple months. I don't know, but what I will say is that I wasn't a fan of Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead was a movie that when it came out, critics and audiences both really took to it. I don't know if they were riding the hype of Zack Snyder's Justice League or if they just genuinely enjoyed it. Either way, I can respect that, but for me, I wasn't a big fan of Army of the Dead. So a prequel movie to that, I had very low expectations going to Army of Thieves. But I will say this, even despite having those low expectations, I still wasn't a big fan of this movie, and I still found myself to be quite disappointed by this movie, even with the low expectations that I had. What I will say is the cast is diverting. They're clearly having a lot of fun. And when they're having a lot of fun, us as audiences, we can't help but enjoy that they're doing that. And I will say that a lot of these actors and actresses aren't really well known. And I like that because I feel like a lot of times movies really heavily rely on A-list actors to try to sell a movie. So it's nice to have it where there's no big actors. There are a lot of like C-list actors. So I quite enjoyed that for sure. Some of the cinematography is also decent. I thought that some of the color palette worked, and then also some of the camera movement was pretty cool. I also thought the sound mixing was good, definitely fit. There were some scenes that were pretty well paced. But besides that, I will say that, again, this movie is disappointing. There's a lot of things I feel quite mixed about, to negative about, but mostly mixed, I will say. There's nothing bad per se about this movie. My biggest issue just happens to be this. The movie has a lot of cliches. The story, plot, characters, they all just feel very been there, done that. Same with the romance. Yes, there is a romance in this movie, and you see it coming from a mile away, and it just doesn't really work because it's not really fleshed out that well. There's like a scene or two here or there where they do develop it, but it's like not enough to where you actually care about them. So then when the ending happens and it's like they show those two scenes and they're really trying to emphasize you're supposed to care, it just fell flat for me personally. And I think that the characters also, it's not like they're bland in the sense of like, oh, they're super serious. Because I know a lot of people, they'll look at characters being super serious and saying, oh, that's not interesting to me. That's not me personally. What is the issue here in terms of the characters is that they are trying their darndest to be so funny and it just falls flat. The humor just isn't that well written at all. I didn't really laugh at all in the slightest with the attempts. And a lot of times I was just kind of like, oh gosh, okay, a serious movie punctured by humor. Okay, they're not trying to be Marvel. Okay, and Marvel, it's like, doesn't really always work. Other thing I wanted to mention is the score. It's done by Hans Zimmer, which is a surprise. When I saw it in the credits, I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, I mean, I like Hans Zimmer. Let's see how this is. And then I heard the score, and I was like, this is not that interesting either. It's like, okay, is he trying to match the story and plot? I guess so, by just being uninteresting. But it's just kind of a surprise. I feel like lately Zimmer just has been a bit more miss than hit. Obviously, he has Dune and Blade Runner 2049, but I feel like with those other like movies, those like mid-budget movies, I feel like he's just been kind of like a miss. I don't know what's going on, but it's one of those things I just can't help but mention up here because, again, I'm a big fan of his. Other thing worth mentioning is that the ending, it just, again, as mentioned earlier, it builds up to something that, for me, it just didn't really feel earned. Especially since, again, it's a prequel, so a lot of times with prequels, because you already know what's going to happen and you know that like a character will or won't die, it just kind of almost deflates some of the tension, and that's definitely the case here. What I will say, though, is this. If you were just looking for a movie to put on and just be on your phone and just talk while watching it, then I'd say this is a movie that it's not harmful in any way, but it's definitely a movie that if you were looking for a good heist movie, I would definitely look elsewhere, far away, because it's definitely not a good movie in that regards. And that's why Army of Thieves, for me personally, I'll be giving a 2 out of 5 star rating. So yeah, no hot sauce rating. Other thing I wanted to mention before finishing this up, I did want to mention this. This was something that really took me off guard early on. No spoilers, But it happens 10 minutes in, so I don't really think it's a spoiler per se. But if you don't want to know anything about this movie, which again, I try not to explain the premise to begin with, so that way you can go in the same way I do. But anyways, the first 10 minutes, they have it where someone finds another person through a YouTube video. And this YouTube video, it's like, okay, maybe they found it because they had a couple thousand views, or maybe it was, you know, a couple hundred. No, they found someone who had 0 subscribers and 1 single view. How? Please. And it wasn't like it was within the first 24 hours. The way the YouTube algorithm works, it's usually within the first 24 hours if you click on something. This was something that it was like, what, several days? And I was like, are you serious? They somehow managed to click on a video with 0 views, and that was the person that they were looking for. It was just a moment where I was like, kind of like, screw you. Like, I don't know. As a YouTuber, it was just kind of like, no, that's not really how it works, especially since there's a lot of other videos out there, I'm sure, that cover the topic that they did in the first 10 minutes. But minor nitpick aside, again, disappointing movie. But anyways, guys, again, let me know your thoughts on Army of Thieves. Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.